Hello everyone, and welcome to the Threshold Stories channel. I'm Elina, and this is a space where incredible, mysterious, and magical stories from real experiencers are conveyed from me to you. Today I have 3 wonderful stories to share. The first one is called The Gardener of Stapleford. The second, The Gnome of the Tule River. And the last one is my personal experience. The story is called The Wolf in the Camp. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Let's get started. The Gardener of Stapleford, from Marjorie Johnson's Seeing Fairies. There's a quiet little place on the outskirts of Stapleford, Nottinghamshire. The kind of English garden that looks sleepy on the surface, but hums with something ancient underneath. On a warm afternoon, our experiencer is out in her garden, doing battle with a patch of stubborn, sun-baked soil. The ground is so hard it rings against her hoe like she's striking solid stone. She's sweating, cursing a little under her breath, wondering why in the world she ever thought gardening was a peaceful hobby. As she straightens up to catch her breath, she feels it, that prickling pressure, the sense of being watched. She turns. Standing at the edge of her vegetable bed is a tiny man, maybe 2 feet tall, clothed in earthy brown and mossy green, beard like curled roots, and a small cap the color of turned soil. A gnome, or something like one. He isn't threatening, he isn't hiding, he's just watching her, arms crossed, eyebrows raised, and unmistakably amused. Margaret, exhausted and irritated, snaps, "If you think this is so funny, why don't you try digging it?" The little man's smile widens. Then, without a sound, he dives straight into the ground, slipping beneath the soil as easily as water slipping under reeds. A heartbeat later, the earth moves rhythmically. A wave passes beneath the surface, like something tunneling under it. The entire patch of soil begins to lift and crumble, turning loose and rich, perfectly tilled. The hoe in her hand suddenly sinks in effortlessly. And then, nothing. Silence. The soil stills. The gnome is gone, but the earth he touched stays soft and fertile the rest of the season. Gardeners talk about green thumbs, but in that corner of Stapleford, some people whisper about something older, spirits who tend to the land when we're not looking. In our second story, called The Gnome at the Tule River, from the blog Weirdo Fresno. In the rural farmlands near Porterville, California, where the Tule River cuts through fields and oak groves, there's a farmhouse that's seen more tenants than it should. People come, stay a few months, and leave, always quietly, always suddenly. This story begins with a woman named Tammy, who moved in with her children, hoping for a fresh start. The first sign that something was wrong came from the animals. Chickens refused to go near the old barn. Dogs whimpered at night. Hens kept vanishing from the coop, one at a time. But the real encounter happened one evening as Tammy and her teenage son pulled into the driveway. It was just after dark. The sky was that purplish blue where shapes start to melt into shadow. As they opened the car doors, they heard it. A chuckle. Not a child's laugh, and not a man's laugh, but something in between, high-pitched, dry, and cruel like gravel scraping together. Then they saw it. A creature no taller than 3 feet stepped into the beam of the car's headlights. Baggy black pants, a mustard yellow shirt, a long beard streaked with gray, skin like weathered bark, and on its head, a red pointed cap, stiff and dark like old blood. Its face was almost human. Almost. The proportions were wrong. The eyes were too deep set, and the smile wide, jagged, showing yellow crooked teeth. Never moved, except to widen just a little more. When Tammy gasped, it charged at them. Not fast, but relentless, like something that knew fear was half the meal. They ran inside, slammed the door, and locked it, but the creature didn't leave. For hours it paced outside the windows, knocking, scratching, whispering something they couldn't understand. Eventually, Tammy moved out. Everyone did. But the creature didn't stay alone for long. Years later, a new couple moved in. The husband, unaware of the house's history, decorated the garden pond with cute gnome statues. And that's when the entity returned. At 3 a.m. on a windless night, they woke to a bizarre gargling singing. When they looked outside, they saw the same figure, short, bearded, pointed hat, standing by the pond, clutching one of the decorative statues like a trophy. It reached into the water, grabbed a koi fish, and bit its head off, staring straight at them through the window. Then it laughed, the same jagged, wrong laughter, and disappeared behind the barn. The couple didn't last long either. People in Porterville say the land there has old roots, older than settlers, older than stories. Something's buried in the earth. Don't sleep. They pace, they wait, and they laugh when the lights go out. My last story is called The Wolf in the Camp. This is my personal encounter with something that was very much out of this world, which happened to me when I was quite young. There's a place in Big Sur, California, where the forest air feels older than anything human. A ridge of redwoods that has watched fire, famine, and ceremony for longer than memory. And one night, years ago, I found myself there, not as a tourist, of course. I was a local. And I was a belly dancer. I had come early to the campground hoping to warm up before my performance. There was an Esalen tribe drum circle there. I saw a man who looked like some kind of shaman sitting by the fire, his silhouette carved out by flame and shadow. Face soft but unreadable, as if he were carved from the trunk of the ancient redwood behind him. He cleared his throat in a booming, almost ceremonial way and asked, "You're one of the dancers?" I nodded. "I don't go on for another hour," I said. "Teresa told me I might find some magic out here." I laughed awkwardly. The shaman didn't. "One of those Big Sur natives," he said, amused. "Always away with words." The fire popped, sending a tornado of sparks up into the dark. He stared into it and said, almost offhandedly, "There's no magic here." Something in me sank. He noticed. "You're disappointed?" "No," I lied. He poked at the fire and suddenly shifted the conversation. "You know about the people of the rock?" "The Esalen, ancient guardians of this land." I nodded. "Good," he grunted. "At least your dancer friends teach a little truth." He handed me a blanket. I sat beside him and was offered a piece of homemade jerky, ritual disguised as hospitality. Behind us, the drummers began gathering. Their rhythms crept across the soil like roots, pulsing beneath the surface of the earth. The night darkened into something heavy and alive, and I felt myself sinking into it. My eyes drifted into the trees, where the shadows were thick enough to swallow sound. High in the branches, a star detached itself from the sky and settled on a limb just above us. Not a star. Two enormous owl eyes reflecting the firelight. Before I could speak, the shaman murmured from behind me, "The spirits are talking. You should listen." When I looked back at the branch, eyes were gone. Hours passed like water moving under ice. The forest pressed in around us, dense and towering. I tried to see past the edge of the clearing, but something wouldn't let me, as if the darkness itself was holding me back. Finally, exhausted, my eyes burned from trying to pierce the wall of black. I gave up and softened my gaze into the fire. Then that's when I saw it. A mist in the distance, not drifting but advancing. A pale shape sliding between tree trunks, gathering density as it approached. At first, my mind tried to rationalize it. fog, smoke, a trick of the firelight. But as it crossed the outer ring of tents, the shape elongated, darkened, solidified, until it stepped fully into view, and my body went numb. Because standing at the edge of the camp was a massive gray wolf. This was an impossibility. Wolves hadn't been seen in California for almost 100 years. On top of that, it was an incredibly dangerous apex predator. This was a creature that shouldn't have existed there at all. He walked in as if he owned the place. No one screamed. No one even looked up. The drums kept going, and somehow, impossibly, I was the only one who saw him. My breath locked in my chest. The wolf didn't sniff or stalk or circle. He simply crossed the camp with slow, deliberate steps and sat down beside me as calmly as a man taking a seat at a fire. Right then and there, the world fell silent. Everyone was gone. It was just me and him. I crawled away from him as fast as I could, and by the time I looked back, he was gone. And the shaman was looking at me like I was crazy. I figured I must have had some kind of waking dream. But just to double check, I returned the next morning, and I found the truth pressed into the earth. Huge wolf prints in the soil, exactly where he stood. Thank you all for being here and listening to these fascinating encounters. I hope these stories stirred something in you. If you have a story to share, you can send me a message. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. And remember, step outside and listen closely. There might be something there, just beyond the threshold, waiting for you. Until next time, friends.